Okay, so Fallout Tactics. Ass. Okay. No. So what is there to the game? Story? I don't know. Music? Gameplay? Which you can break down into, like, characters, weapons. I mean, I guess the story could... Actually, no. The levels. Etc. The writing. That's the main things. For the story, I don't care. You fight a computer. You're a Brotherhood of Steel recruit. There's a general who's kind of racist. I mean, I figured game mechanics is probably like part of game. Actually, that's a fair point. Mechanics. Let's go. Let's put that on the list. Mechanics. So, story is just you're a recruit. Go do some shit, and then whoops, you fight some raiders. Whoops, you fight. Do you fight super mutants immediately after fighting raiders? You fight some humans, you fight some mutants, you fight some technology boys, you fight some animal boys, you fight some robot boys. The enemy variety is not that good. Each mission you're probably going to fight, like, at most 3 different types of enemies. And outside of the enemies having different weapons, it's not that interesting. And as far as, so like, the story is just, I don't know, there's a robot that's in the middle of nowhere and it's slowly killing people. Okay. You know, the fact that they do try and redeem Barnaky as a character with his whole wife thing, and they try and make you care about him, meanwhile, I don't give a single fuck. Because, 1, he's hella racist, 2, he disappears like a third of the way through the game. I don't care. I care more about Decker, because Decker has got a better voice, for 1. As well as just, he's a more interesting character. There is that one bit where... Oh, were you in the ending cutscene, Max? Because yeah, the ending cutscene had some gems. For a second I thought I'd gotten the bad ending, but no, I did get the good ending. Which means my karma wasn't affected by killing the brains. So I don't know what the point of it was. Anyways, so... I was talking about something. Right. The weird thing where the game called me a murderer for killing the dude who told me to kill him was in a massive amount of pain. And, you know, I was told, like, if you can't save him, kill him. I figured he was dead anyway, so I just didn't save him. Oh yeah, no, that was a bit ago. But yeah, so story, fucking, like, 3 out of 10. I felt nothing. I felt nothing. There was at least a story. They tried some things. And, like, I just don't care. It's weak. Absolutely weak. I should also, tactics, post-ending boots. There we go. I should probably also move chat to somewhere where it's fucking visible and not on top of what I'm drawing. Although it's still not going to be very visible. I don't care. It's fine. The music. Now this is going to tie into game mechanics. Actually, I think mechanics / design. Because I think those two are fairly linked together and are fairly important. So, the music is okay. There was not a single track that made me go, ooh, I'm into this. The tactical action. Well, see, Max, that's what happens in the wasteland that I establish as the brain for the calculator. I'm like, all right, computer. Everyone gets the pussy. They don't want the pussy, they get the pussy. Simple as that. Yeah, no, the music was nothing special. Fairly standard. Bland. No, only pussy and bussy. There's no dick in the wasteland. Just slap them together. I'm kidding. Yeah, music and nothing special. And there was this weird, I don't know if it's a glitch, and this ties into mechanics / design a little bit. I don't know if it was a glitch or just that's what the music's supposed to do, but in a lot of situations when either nothing was happening or I'm just in, a Brotherhood of Steel bunker selling stuff, the music would keep looping through this short, intense bit, which is like, and then like 30 seconds later, it would fade away, and then just come back in. So music, like, the music was nothing special, and it managed to not play properly a lot. So like a 2 out of 10. Actually, no, I'll put a 3 out of 10 because there was music. You know. Glitchy. And boring. Simple as that. That's a terrible O. That's also a terrible N, so it all works. Gameplay. I don't like the gameplay. I hate the fact that it's this gross hodgepodge of, real-time Fallout, but also, like, the old-school Fallout, where the turn-based isn't well-designed enough to work, so you have to play it real-time because it just becomes a fucking cakewalk, right up until the enemies one-shot you from across the map with a gun that you can't possibly wield, that does, the most damage of anything in the game. And, like, I think gameplay overall, I'll talk about after, but, like, characters, I don't see the design of the different characters that you can get on your team mattering too much, outside of, like, the Deathclaw Matriarch can melee stuff. Some super mutants. I think the mutants and ghouls have to wear different armor, but, like, the mutants are going to have strength. The ghouls are probably going to be, I don't know, sneaky. I don't know. I don't care. The characters don't matter, in my mind. Like, really, if you let me design every single character, I'd have a much more enjoyable time. And even then, the fact that you get multiple characters really fucks with a lot of the Fallout design, I think. Because, each special stat is supposed to have a certain amount of weight to it. Strength is supposed to be important because of carry capacity, melee damage, and I think to some degree health. But having 3 characters right at the start of the game means that strength, that pillar of strength, which is the carry capacity, instantly doesn't matter as much. Because you can carry probably up to twice the amount you could in a normal Fallout game if you put points into strength. Endurance kind of matters, but you have so many people that it doesn't matter if you have high health, because one person goes in, they do some damage, they take some damage, they get out. Second person goes in, same thing. Third person goes in, same thing. You can bypass the idea of having a lot of health because you just have a lot of bodies to throw at a problem. What else does endurance even affect? Let me check. Fallout special stats. Because I mostly know endurance as just, like, health. And I don't know if it really matters. Fallout 2D20. What? Excuse me? The hell is... Okay, there's not even a link to anything. That's strange. Okay. Let me pull all of these bad boys up. So yeah, strength in tactics, carry weight, and the minimum strength requirement. And that's the other thing with the whole strength thing, is by making strength less important and having insanely good guns that require high strength, you are effectively gating the player off from using powerful weapons early on, not by, limiting the availability or limiting the ammo of them, but just saying, fuck you, you don't get to use them. The enemies get to use them, because the enemies are super mutants, and they have like 10 strength by default or some bullshit, I don't fucking know. So you get to just get fucked on by the enemies. And then you can't do any fucking back until you get some of the lower strength weapons, or until you get weapon handling, or bracing, or just increasing your strength, which you still have to be a fairly high level to just gain strength as a perk. Then, I missed perception. How the fuck did I miss perception? So perception seems to modify sequence, ranged combat distance modifiers, a few dialogue options apparently, distance from enemies and random encounters. Okay, so random encounters are worthless in this game. You can skip them by giving Farsight, who I'm pretty sure you're forced to have at the start of the game, an outdoorsman skill of 100, which takes like 2 levels to do. Because I think they have it tagged, so they get it up hella quick. And the moment you hit 100, you can say no to every random encounter in the game. And because of that, or at least partially because of it, partially because, I don't know, they made combat not give you shit for experience, you will not really be underleveled. Maybe you will be, maybe you won't be. I don't know, I got through mostly fine. And the problems that I had with the game were not due to my health. They were due to the enemies doing 3 times my health and damage, and you would not get that much from being 2 levels higher. But yeah, so perception is kind of useful for the ranged combat modifiers, and perhaps the sequence, but that's about it. Endurance, hit points, poison and radiation resist, and healing rate. Healing rate might be useful. Extra hit points, again, you can kind of bypass by just having more people, up until they one-shot you. But again, more endurance isn't going to solve that. And the poison and radiation resist, you get enough resistance stuff. Like, you get enough poison cures throughout the game, and there's more than enough Rad-X, to have you be capped out at 100 rad resist whenever you need it. Radiation is not a problem in tactics in any way, shape, or form. It does not matter. Because there were, I think, 2 missions in which I had to run through radiation. And both times, I probably had about 15 Rad-X on me. And probably like 10 Radaway. Which I didn't use any until the end of the fucking game. So endurance becomes, you know, poorly designed. Charisma, I don't know what the fuck charisma would do. I want to say charisma was used to recruit high-ranking people, but I didn't even really need to do that. I kind of just took whoever and then just leveled them. Yeah, it doesn't influence the amount of companions you can have because that's not a thing. In Fallout Tactics, charisma is at best a secondary trait due to the nature of the game. It is feasible to complete the game easily with 1 or 2 charisma with no penalty. Oh, okay. The only rule is that when the warrior starts with charisma of 10, their rank is senior initiate rather than initiate. It is involved with the bardic skill and promotions and is required for the leader and divine favor perks. A low charisma, on the other hand, gives access to the loner perk. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's just useless. What the hell? And then divine favor, the thing that requires 8 charisma that I could have taken, gives you +1 to each primary stat, so your special stats, and you get -1 to perk rate. Okay. Which looks like it doesn't impact anything at all. Yeah, no, I don't see a point in I don't see a point in not taking divine favor. That's fantastic. Yeah, Fade, it does, but like, you can just raise barter as a skill separately, and like other Fallouts have, I think they do at least. I want to say they have charisma-specific checks, or charisma will influence dialogue in some other way, like characters will be more likely to get along with you just to start with, based on your karma and charisma or something. And Tactics being a mostly combat-oriented game means that charisma, despite how I built my character, is completely useless. So that was a beautiful waste of points. Intelligence. Intelligence is probably the one thing that remained useful throughout Tactics, because the extra skill points could probably let you get some decent stuff, but I cheated, so I don't care. Agility, hella useful in Old Fallout because the AP points are insanely required. Just being able to shoot more often is very good, and some of the perks that you get from agility is quite good. They're very, very good. And then luck. Okay. It's luck, it's crit chance. It probably is hella useful, but I don't know. I was fine. So, the very design of Fallout Tactics seems to just kind of take the special system of Fallout and just throw it into the dirt. Just puts it in the trash. Doesn't care. So, like, the only satisfaction that I had when it came to, like, my characters specifically was having all 5 of them standing in a fucking line and just being this wall of death with, like, 5 miniguns. Which, these are terrible drawings, but I don't care. I'm not an artist. Just a wall of death. Just gunning the fuckers down. Insanely quickly. And even then, that's more just because, you know, I am refusing to be tactical in any way, shape, or form. So, like, I don't know, characters are there. It just doesn't work. The weapons? The game suffers from, like, both too many weapons and not enough useful weapons. Because you will get guns in the first and second mission that are just straight up worse than the ones you start with. And you'll get guns in, like, the 10th mission that are straight up worse than the things you got in the 8th mission. Not the same guns, worse guns. By the time you have the AK, you're going to find the M16, which is slightly longer range, but not enough to matter, and slightly lower damage. So it fails... It fails to fill a niche because range is never a problem in this game. There's no enemy that is shooting you with something where you think, if only I had more range. It's always just bum rush it. If your character dies, you reload a quick save, because, you know, they probably crit you and instantly killed you. And then you have 5 people shoot at one guy and he dies. So, like, you know, there's some satisfying weapons, I'll give it that. Some of the late game weapons, the Gauss rifle, very nice. The Browning, when you have it and you can use it, ridiculous. That thing is overpowered as hell. But that's also a problem, because the enemies get it midway through the fucking game, and you can't use it anytime near then, because you aren't going to have the perks, nor the stats to use it. Then, there's the various miniguns, which feel inconsistent as hell, because sometimes you'll crit somebody from across the map and do 500 damage, instantly killing them. And other times you'll be standing directly in front of somebody, doing 10 damage, when there's no cover, there's nothing blocking you, and you're like 5 feet away from them. So, like, I don't know. I'm gonna put 5 out of 10 for weapons. Because some are great, some are crap. Otherwise, they're inconsistent. And the fact that there's so many of them almost becomes a hindrance to the game. Because there are so many guns I found that I never used. And are you asking if there's any special guns? Because I don't actually know. Fallout Tactics. I want to find, like, a list of all the weapons in the game if I can. I doubt it. Let me see. Where are the weapons at? Weapons. Here we go. Power unarmed weapon. Okay. Various melee weapons, the wasp sting, the spears, and like the melee, I legitimately don't know what people do for a melee build in this game. Because the damage on all these melee weapons looks like the worst set of melee weapons in a Fallout game I've ever seen. Like maybe the Power Fist, then you're relying on ammo, in a sense. Yeah, like there's no useful melee weapons. The Calico M950. Okay, yeah, special weapons. I'm checking. I don't know. I'm legitimately amazed at just the count of weapons this game has, because I don't remember any of these. I never found a P90. And the P90 was fantastic in was it Fallout 2 or Fallout 1? It was Fallout 2. Yeah, it was Fallout 2. The P90 was fantastic in that game. And it looks like Where did it go? I mean, it looks like it wouldn't have been that bad. It just kind of outpaced. But, like, I don't remember most of these guns because I'd pick them up, see that they're trash, and then just throw them out. Shotguns are all kind of boring, and you're just going to kill your team if you use them. Various miniguns. The Browning M2, which just tears absolute ass. Energy weapons, throwing others. No, I don't think there is. I don't think there's even an alien blaster in this game. Which, I mean, at this point is a fucking staple of Fallout. Fallout Tactics, alien blaster. That's what I was kind of expecting to find inside the vault. But, no, it's not there's no alien blaster. That's wild. That is quite wild. Yeah, so you don't even get, like, oh crap, I didn't open that. There aren't even, like, any special weapons that could be neat. There's a water pistol that you can shoot acid with, but that's just strange and doesn't sound that useful. Unless it does, like, a ton of damage to people's various body parts and can cripple them. But I feel like that would just result in, you know, your characters crippling each other. And then for the levels themselves, like, they're just space. They're just, like, it's a combination of going into rooms blindly, going into battlefields blindly, turning a corner into 3 dudes. And at no point can you try and, like, hold a position, because the only times that actually happens is the one mission where you defend the Ghoul Town, which, I want to say it's Coldwater? No, it's probably not Coldwater. That is the name of a place, but I don't think it's that one. But even in that mission, all it does is it sends you, like, 3 mutants on top, 3 mutants to the north, probably about 5 mutants to the west, and then 10 mutants to the south, 5 of whom have melee weapons, 3 of whom have, like, saws, and then 2 of whom have miniguns. So it's less holding a position, and more just kind of kill off the weak sides and then just spam the deadly side. And even then, the NPCs in this game feature the same amazing level of stupidity that the player characters have when it comes to their pathfinding, because you'll have NPCs who will run in front of you, get shot by you, and then their entire faction gets mad at you and tries to kill you, because this game wasn't designed to be played by people. Like, if you think that a friendly NPC is going to come anywhere near you, you need to set yourself to pacifist immediately and not try and click anything. Because you will kill them and they will get pissed at you. And then you'll fail the mission, or you'll have to do some side objective or some bullshit. It's fucking horrendous. Hate it. Despise it. So the levels, I don't know, 3 out of 10. There's space. They have some cool hidden things. There's stuff to loot, which isn't necessarily the point of a Fallout game, but having it is somewhat nice. Because really, they could have made the environments just combat situations with nothing to do with them. You know what? I'm going to put it to 4 out of 10, just because throughout the game there is at least a little bit of variety. You know, you have a super mutant encampment with... I'm getting a Discord message from somebody. Completed, kitty. The game has been defeated. Oh, hey, that dude's been added back to my fucking school group. What the fuck? Okay. Weird. He got booted the fuck out before. He didn't want to be there. I don't know why he came back. Strange. Anyways. So, like, the levels do have some variety. By the end, it kind of becomes just like, here's a fucking factory. Here's some machinery. Here's some giant robots. But when the main antagonist of the game is giant robots, it makes more sense that it's more industrial, urban sort of environments. What's happening in this? The King returns. Huh? I still don't know who this fucking dude is. Anyways. But, like, as you progress through the game, there's some neat ideas. There's the town that's, like, almost like that one town in Australia that's mostly underground tunnels because it's just too hot on the fucking surface to live. Fucking... all that stuff. You know, the super mutant place that had the trenches, that was kind of cool, but again, they had like 2 dudes with Brownings, and they just kill me from across the map, because they outrange me and outdamage me, and would get crits, so it just didn't matter what I did. So, yeah, that was annoying and terrible. The writing? Kind of along the lines of the story, don't really care. Decker, I think, is decently well written. He's no nonsense, he respects, what's-his-face, Barnaky, for his military excellence, but not necessarily for his politics. Or his opinions and thoughts on ghouls, which, fuck Barnaky. Moving on to Barnaky, fuck Barnaky. Simple as that. I don't give a shit that he turned into a robot at the end. Me finding his wife's fucking locket and being like, my wife! I must think about my wife! Okay, and now a GIF has been put in that thing that just says me when I. Cool. But yeah, the calculator, I don't really care. It's weird that the good ending is to join the calculator. And then it's just like, and then you decided the calculator wasn't evil, and everything was great. Because so much of the game builds the calculator up as just this unthinking, or like unfeeling, murdering machine that's, you know, slowly trying to purify the wastes in a flawed attempt to make way for something. And then you meet it, and it's just like, yeah, join me. We can fix this. And it's like, the fuck you mean? You're the computer. You're the one that's causing the problem. What, like... It says that the faulty brains are the problem, but why... It's so weird. I don't understand why the computer is the way it is. It just doesn't line up to me. Other than that, I don't know. The factions are at least unique. I like the fact that they actually had some factions that are specific to tactics, because Beast Lords don't show up anywhere else. Reavers don't show up anywhere else, from what I know. Maybe they show up in 4. Bethesda ran out of ideas and just decided to go, what else is in the Fallout universe we can shamelessly use again? Yeah, like Beast Lords, dudes paired with animals, fair enough. Reavers, technophiles, people who want to fuck fridges and TVs and stuff. Cool. Makes sense. In so much that, you know, the pre-war had a lot of technology that got blasted to smithereens and the post-war can't actually take advantage of. Having these individuals who look back on it and go, ah, yes, technology, it'll solve all our problems. It's the fucking thing we're missing here. Fair enough, you know. That's not a bad idea for a faction. I like that. Just like the writing. I don't know. 4 out of 10 again. Nothing special, but there are some decent ideas in there. Oh, the mechanics and design. Fuck you, 0 out of 10. I don't care. Oh yeah, I also didn't put a thing for gameplay. 1 out of 10. Not fun at all. The only satisfying thing in the game is having a line of 5 people instantly kill something, and that's not satisfying, because you'll turn a corner with the line of 5 people, and somebody will instantly get crit because the enemy gets to attack first and die instantly. Anyways. So, God, these fucking... How many messages are gonna get sent in this goddamn Discord? Okay. So mechanics and design. None of it works, all of it's terrible. I hate it all. Moving on. No. But, on a more serious note, the pathfinding, jank. The real-time combat shouldn't have been a thing. Simple as that. Just don't do it. In my mind, what Fallout Tactics should have been was Fallout 1 and 2, except you get a greater degree of control over your companions. Start the game with a few companions, keep the game basically the same as Fallout 1 and 2 in terms of design and gameplay, and just let me control my companions. Don't have them brainlessly follow me, don't have them, you know, get infinite ammo, make it actually be a vaguely tactical experience where I have to think and not just line them up, send them in. And then also, just, the problem of... What was I even thinking of? The problem of, like, there's so many missed opportunities when it comes to the design, because you have the formation system. You have it where if you have your units set up in a certain position, you have, you know, 4 people all standing in a line. and you set formations to on or you use the hotkey, they will move around and they'll keep that formation as best they can up until the game fucks up. Up until there's something in the way of the formation, in which case it completely crumbles, or you dare to click whilst they're moving because they all move at different speeds. You know, rather than actually having all of the characters move at the same time together when you give them all the command, you have, like, oh, this person starts moving, this person starts moving, this person starts moving, and then you click again because you've changed your mind or something has appeared, and now suddenly your formation's fucked. So you move back into cover, and you just have this clump of people that all start shooting each other. And even just the fact that it feels like no attempt was made to not have your teammates shoot each other, which is probably supposed to encourage more tactical gameplay. And it doesn't. In any way, shape, or form. It just dicks you over when the game fails to work properly. And it's just so amazingly terrible. So horrendous. Like, having a button that saved your formations to where you could instantly put your team into that formation with each character where it says where you have them set to. So you can have, like, if you want to have a line of people, you can set up a line of people, and when you click the button, it'll automatically put, you know, all the characters in positions relative to each other. So you have your line of people, you have your snipers on the edge, your big hitters in the middle. You push the button, your snipers move to a set position. Or maybe, like, you hit the button and then you click a spot. Snipers move to their positions, big hitters come in, and they sit there, and it just works. Like, just that alone would have made the game so much, or so... would have removed so much of the tedium, I'll say. It's not a good way to phrase that, but it's good enough. But it just... The formation system completely fails. The real-time combat falls flat on its face. It fails on so many accounts that I'm... You know what, let me... Hold on. Fallout Tactics review. I want to find a review from back in the day. Oh, GameSpot. Here we go. What did they give it? Where's their score? 8.3. Great. The good. And N/A. The bad. Completely empty. Oh yeah, Fate. It wouldn't work, but, like, at least if it had the idea and it was just poor programming that held it back, I could be like, you know, it has some good ideas, but they're just they don't work. You know, they needed a bit more time. That would have been better, because then you can at least see the idea. I don't know what they were going for with tactics. I don't know what the point of it was. But yeah, let me actually let me show this. Window capture 2. Did they fade? Did they really? Yeah, there's the Brotherhood of Steel review. Okay. So, these motherfuckers, which I actually... Why can't I... Okay, I cannot edit it until I do that. Okay. Look at this. Look at these motherfuckers. 8.3. The good. Nothing. The bad. Can't say. Let me read through a bit of the review. Yeah, no, there's a lot of bad. It's mostly bad. Let me read through this. It's fitting that the Brotherhood of Steel is the subject of Fallout Tactics, which uses the Fallout role-playing game's excellent combat system as the basis for a tactical combat game. The Brotherhood has always been one of the Fallout series' most intriguing elements. As the most militaristic and technologically advanced faction in the post-nuclear wasteland of blah 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 blah, the Brotherhood takes center stage in this third Fallout game, which borrows many of the elements that made the first two so enjoyable, and in turn manages to be a lot of fun despite a few problems. The interfaces, maps, and environments are all similar to those in the role-playing games, and the story even has the same level of intriguing twists and turns. Did these dudes play the same game? What twists and turns? Hey, you know that general guy who was racist and that you fucking listened to for the first third of the game? Yeah, he's a robot now. Shock horror. What a twist. Yeah, apparently, Fade. A few. A couple. Unlike with its predecessors, it can take a while to get used to Fallout tactics. No, that's like its predecessors. Fallout 1 and 2 are very much very obtuse games to try and get into nowadays. But this review was also written in 2001, so who knows? Back when computer nerds were true nerds, you needed to have skill to install a video game. And you can buy all the right parts, put it together, and then it just doesn't work because fuck you. And you don't have the internet to troubleshoot everything. Let's see. The designers seem to resist making decisions while designing the game. Never have I heard a more true statement. And instead opted to make the rules of the game very open-ended. As a result, the options screen looks like a do-it-yourself design kit with options for turning formations on or off, which you can override at the press of a button, so that doesn't matter. Difficulty levels that determine both damage and the artificial intelligence of your opponents. Okay. And combat modes that include one real-time mode and not one, but two turn-based modes. It's great to have options, but Fallout Tactics can seem like several different games with just a few twists of the dials. And you'll find that most of these different games actually aren't very good. Okay, so they're speaking some truth here. You can adjust all these parameters on the fly, and once you do find a combination or set of combinations that works for a particular style and patience level, Fallout Tactics is great fun. Okay. The role-playing elements have been stripped away, but the role-playing rules still apply. Characters have statistics like perception, agility, luck, strength, charisma, and endurance. You can just say the special stats. As characters advance in levels, they can improve in various skills and occasionally gain special perks that can dramatically affect their abilities. The designers have done a commendable job of removing the Fallout perks and skills that don't make sense in a combat-oriented game, and adding a number of new ones that do, like piloting. Because vehicles. What were the other ones? They kept literally every combat thing. They still have small guns and big guns being separate. They got rid of speech. They kept outdoorsmen. They still have traps and stealth and steal, or sneak rather. Which I'm so glad that sneak just became sneak and steal. Steal is so fucking stupid. Combat-oriented Fallout game, by the way. Steal. Yeah, that's really important to keep. Perception and agility affect how far your character can shoot and how quickly he or she can react in situations. Kind of. These statistics are obviously more valuable than charisma or luck, both of which seem to have relatively little impact on the game. Okay, you could have said endurance and charisma. You could have said intelligence, perhaps. Because, like, yes, agility's great, but perception's great. Luck, you telling me you don't want crits? What, are you fucking stupid? Hello, Dagoth. Welcome to the post-game shit talk of Fallout Tactics, which in a few minutes will turn into, ooh. So you had fun. You enjoyed playing a Halo game. Same way I do every time. By which I mean I don't. But hello, Dagoth. The length of the missions can be problematic at times because you're occasionally given new objectives during a mission, but you may have already done something that makes completing those new objectives impossible, such as letting a seemingly expendable NPC die. It's especially frustrating when you only find out hours later that you needed to keep him or her alive. Each mission takes like an hour and a half at most. What the fuck were they doing? What the hell? Good lord. Christ. Each mission can take several hours to complete, especially in either of the turn-based modes. What the f- These people were thinking so much more than I was. Maybe that's why they think it's good. Because they spent 3 times as long with it. They have Stockholm Syndrome by that point. The turn-based modes are the best way to play the game, if only because they're the only modes in which you have much control. Of the 2 turn-based modes, squad-based is better. In this mode, the game plays much like Jagged Alliance or XCOM UFO Defense. Each member of your squad takes his or her turn, and then each member of the opposing squad does the same. In individual turn-based mode, characters move in order of their speed, much as in the Fallout role-playing games. I still don't think that would solve that problem. Hell yeah, you do, Dagoth. The dialogue of your superiors is well written and often funny. It's also often disturbing, as the Brotherhood treats non-members with little regard. Yeah, I guess. It's not funny, though. Many of the characters you'll encounter will say crude and silly things that do little to heighten the mood of the game. Unfortunately, yeah, okay, here we go. Unfortunately, the casual dialogue of non-player characters is often embarrassing and downright juvenile by comparison. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, lordy. Oh yeah, the game has a multiplayer mode. Which I think it would just be real-time combat. I have no idea. But yeah, all in all, Fallout Tactics. That's as far back as I can go. Damn it. Where's that picture at? Is that in downloads? It is in downloads. There we go. No, don't save. There we go. So, Fallout Tactics. Fuck you. Do I give it a 2 out of 10 or a 3 out of 10? I'm gonna say a 2 out of 10. Actually, no. I'll say a 3. 3 out of 10. It has vague moments of enjoyment. It is still enough Fallout to be at least interesting, because you can still loot and you can go still sell stuff and find new equipment, and it's neat and cool. But so much of that equipment doesn't matter. The characters are basically irrelevant. The story has nothing to it. The gameplay fails to work properly. Characters don't go where you tell them to, or they do go and it just doesn't make sense. You can shoot through walls. Just solid walls can be shot through for some damn reason, and I'll never know why. But yeah, very much a strange and baffling game that is not fun, and I don't like. It's finally done after, what did it say, 25 hours? I believe it did.